So in this video, I'll show you our new updated models and how they can do text-based logos, logotypes, and word marks in various styles, as well as monograms using both text prompts and how to turn a quick sketch into a clean vector monogram. Next, I'll show you our new dual model system. You'll see how each model handles the same prompt differently, and you'll learn my technique for combining the best features from both models into one design. We'll also check out the new retro Mascot style. I'll show you how to create the retro Mascot logo, turn it into 3D version, and place it in different scenes. Then we'll use the new style transfer feature to apply several visual styles to your designs. Finally, we'll look at our new and improved Upscaler model, which will help you turn your designs into ultra-detailed, production-ready 4K images. So let's get started. Hello there, Ali here from Logo Diffusion, and today we're going to go through this quick tutorial on Logo Diffusion V.4, the latest and most capable version of our app so far. First, I'm going to go with the text-to-image workspace. And if you use Logo Diffusion V3, you might notice that there's a little bit of a UI change. We worked on updating this user interface to make it a little bit easier to use. So you can notice that on the left now we permanently have the style categories, and you can select a different logo style here, or you can change the category of content that you want to generate. So if we're going to do 2D art, we got 3D art, realistic, fine art, and none if you'd like to just experiment without any specific style. So going back to logo design, you can see we've added a new style, retro Mascot, but we'll get back to it later. And you might also notice that we've added this model variation. So you can see we have model A and model B. Both of these models are part of our V4 release, and each one does things a little bit differently. So if you prefer to do logos that are more minimalist, model A is going to be the model for you. Now model B is better at creating detailed logos, and it follows your prompts more closely with less errors. So to test things out, let's start with a Logotype. You can see that pre-selects model A for you since it's the best model for text-based logos. And let's try something like Craft Works. And you can see that when you select Logotype, you get all the style settings open up here. So here you can get to choose between block letters and cursive. I'm going to keep it at block letters. Then we get the type between modern and vintage. I'm going to keep it at vintage. And here we get to choose between detailed and minimalist. I'll keep it at detailed. And here at style, we get different options. So I'm going to go with traditional. And for font style, we got different options as well, but I'm going to turn it off so we can give the model more creative. Now going back here, we can pretty much start the generation, or we can write a simple prompt to kind of guide the model in what theme we want. So I'm going to try something with magic theme, vintage look, and textured design. One last thing before I click generate is choosing the color palette. So I'm going to go with red and beige, and I'm going to choose black for the back. And let's click generate. Now while the image is generating, you can see that we also introduced this version if you want to see all 4 images together, or if you want to keep it this original style. Also, you have history here, so you can see all your previous generations at a glance. And at the bottom here, you can see all the inputs we've already used in this prompt. For example, color palette, background color, and the main Logotype text that we used. So let's check out the results. We got first result, Craft Works, and you can see that it got the writing correct on the first one. The second one, you can see on the third one, it kind of like messed up the W a little bit. You can always roll back again to get a cleaner result, and sometimes it might add some extra text like this, but you can see the main text is exactly what we asked for. Craft Works, and you can just keep generating to get new results until you get something you like. Any misspelling issues could happen if you're using 2 or 3 words, but if you use 1 word, then 90% of the time Logo Diffusion is going to get it right. Now if you want to go for something a little bit different, let's try something like Digital Nexus. I'm going to keep it block letter, but I'm going to try something more modern, minimalist, and here I'll turn off the style and probably use a geometric font. And here I'll just give it a general prompt like big tech startup logo. In terms of colors, let's try something like a blue gradient, let's remove the second color and let's do a white background. And let's click generate. All right, so here are the results we got. You can see that in 3 of them, we got what we requested, digital nexus, in different fonts. In one of them, it kind of missed the digital word, but it gave us kind of like a cool icon to go with it. And this is kind of an element of AI models where you really can't control it as much as we'd like to, but as you use it and as we train on it, it would always get better. And if you compare this to our previous models, this is already generating much better results. Now you can experience the better text and spelling also in our Monogram model. So if you click on Monogram, you can select the main letter you want to create a monogram for. So let's say you want to do letter D, and let's keep it minimalist and geometric. And for the prompt, you can leave it empty, or you can do something kind of like mechanical gear style. I'm gonna do silver on a white background, and let's click generate. And you can see these are the results we got. We got here something a little bit too minimalist, as well as this one, but I think this one is exactly what I had in mind when I wrote this prompt. Another thing we can do is actually use this model to create a monogram based on a really rough sketch. So if we go to input image and we click on start sketching, it's gonna open this editor. So let's start by sketching letter B. I'm gonna go to the pen and go to the biggest brush size possible. Let's select this green color. So I'm gonna do a really rough sketch of a B letter. Right, let's do this. And I want a B with like bunny ears. So I'm just gonna make the brush a little bit smaller and let's draw these bunny ears. Something like this. Now one last thing before I save, I wanna select everything and just make it a little bit smaller and centered. And let's click save. Now I just want to use the colors that we entered in our sketch. So I'll just click this, and here I'm going to keep it minimalist, and let's keep an organic shape. And let me change the prompt to be just a simple bunny ears. And for colors, I'm going to change the main color to be green. And one last thing, we just need to change the main color to be the letter B, and let's click generate. As you can see, Logo Diffusion gave us different versions of the sketch I provided. So I really like this one, and if I want to compare it to my sketch, I can just click on it, and here it's going to give us information about what we used for this prompt. But if you hover here, you can see compare input image, and you can see here that it took this really rough sketch and it cleaned it up and it made it this usable logo. Now if I turn off the comparison, and let's say I like this and I want to use it for my next project, I can just click on this vectorize image, and it's going to send me to the vectorizer. Click vectorize and give it a few seconds. It's going to come back with a vector version of this logo that we can download as an SVG file and use it in Illustrator or any vector program that we use. Here you can zoom in to see the difference between the provided image and the vectorized image. You can see how clean it looks, and that now we can just download an SVG file. And you can see I opened this SVG in Illustrator, and I have a clean vectorized version of the logo that I can edit or change however I need. Now going back to Logo Diffusion, there are a few more things I want to try. So first, let's remove this input image, and let's choose this Mascot logo style. So let's say I want to create a logo of a fox wearing a hoodie. So let me write a simple prompt like sneaky fox wearing a hoodie. In here, I can decide if I want it detailed or minimalist. Let's pick detailed, and full body or portrait. Portrait is more to kind of focus on the head and shoulders area. And then side view or symmetrical is more if you want front facing or kind of profile view. I'll keep it at side view. And then in terms of colors, I'm gonna do something like orange, gray. I'm gonna do a white outline and a black background. And let's click generate. Now you can see that I did this using the B model, which is the model that's really good at creating detailed logos and graphics. And once this generation is done, I'm gonna try again on the A model so we can see the difference between the two models. So you can see this is the results we got with this, all detailed and following the prompt exactly with the white outline and the gray and orange color palette on a black background. Now switching to the A model, we can start the generation, and while the image is being generated, we can just check these models. And this is kind of what you'd expect from model B, which is you get results that are kind of similar to each other, but they all follow your prompt precisely. So if you want to change anything, you just change your prompt and you're going to see it reflected in the results. And here are the results of model A, and you can see that results are a lot more minimalist, similar to the new modern style of logo design. You can see, I actually really like this one. You can see with very simple lines, it was able to capture the prompt and to give us kind of a mysterious, sneaky fox wearing a hoodie and using the colors we specified. You can see that it missed out on adding the outline, but that's of what you'd expect from model A, which is not as good at following everything in your prompt, but it does come up with these creative results that are more on the minimalist side. Now, let's say you liked a version of this and you really want to create it in a minimalist style. The best way to do it is to actually use it as an input image. So let's say we really like this one and we want to create a minimalist version of it. I would just click on edit and then use as input image. And then here I would use image colors. I would go up to around 8. Make sure I have model A on and keep the same Mascot style, minimalist portrait, side view, everything the same. And then just click generate. What this does is it's gonna give us kind of the best of both worlds, the prompt adherence of model B and then the minimalism and clean lines of model A. As you can see, these are the results we got with this, and you can see that it took our input image and it made it a lot simpler. And you can see that it followed all the main elements from the main image. So it preserved the white outline, the gray and orange color palette, and the overall look of it, but it just kind of removed all this extra details that might not look good for a logo and replaced it with these super simple lines that still convey the same feeling and shape, but on a more minimalist and simple style. And then you can just put this in the middle, kind of like cycle through the different results just to see which one you like the most. I really like this one. Also, this one is pretty cool, and it just follows the contour of the main image really well. Now, another thing I want to show you is the retro Mascot. This is a new style that we're releasing with V4, and let's remove this input image and let's give it a shot. So with this one, it's going to give you these cool retro Mascot logos that are being used a lot recently. So for the font, let's do something you wouldn't see as a normal logo, just to see how good this model at creating these unusual concepts. So let's do something like banana sheriff wearing a cowboy hat. And in terms of colors, let's do yellow, black, and let's pick a beige color for the background. And when it comes to style settings, wearing gloves, I'll keep it this way. Character action, let's do walking, and emotion, let's do smiling. And let's click generate. Now, these are the results we expect to get from the retro Mascot. You can see it kind of shows that style. Now I'm going to take this logo and turn it into 3D to show you the enhanced image-to-image model that we releasing with V4. So let's just go to edit and then use as input image. You see it loaded up here. Let's go to realistic and hyperrealism. You can see here it loads details and depth. You can see the description of each one, what it does to your input image. And also, if you want to pair it with use image colors, I would set it on a really low setting, kind of like 2. And I'll keep the same prompt and colors from before and just click generate. And you can see that it took the main image and it created these different 3D characters. This one, it gave it a gun, but it gave it this kind of 3D look, and you can always compare to the original. So you can just slide and see how close it really followed our input image. You can always decide how much. If you want it to be really close to it, you can just increase the image strength here to make it closer to the original sketch or original logo. And if you want this to be in a different situation, so let's say we want this kind of character to be walking in New York City, I would just turn off use image colors, and here I would just add walking in New York City, and just remove the background color here, or actually just clear the color palette and just leave it to the AI to decide the colors. And let's click generate. And these are the results we got with this prompt. You can see this character looks like it's walking New York City. You can see that it has this hyperrealism style, and you can experiment with any of our other styles. You know, you can do it in oil painting, 3D art, 2D art, whatever your project needs or you want to create. And to take this to the next level, we've added the new feature, which is style transfer. And here you can see we have a lot of images in the gallery to choose from, or you can upload your own image. And this feature is really good if you want to pick an exact type of lighting, colors, and aesthetic, instead of just trying to get it with text prompts. So let's say I want to make a golden version of this sheriff character. We can just choose this one, and I can keep the main image as it is here. And I will just change my prompt to be made of gold. We can leave these settings as is, but let's click generate and I'll tell you what each one does. So this one is basically the same, just controlling the strength of capturing the details of your image. Here you can, if you want to use image colors, I don't recommend using this with style image because it kind of conflicts with the style you're trying to copy, unless you really want to get a clean background or have more final control over your result. Background separation actually helps in making sure that the background behind the character is isolated, so you don't have a lot of elements interfering with your main design. So as you can see, we got a bunch of results here, kind of following the input image that we provided, and you can always compare it with the main logo that we created, and you can also view the original style image. This is the image I used as a style, and of course, you can always use your own images as styles. You can find your own designs and copy their own style and lighting into it. Another style I tried was this inflated plastic style, and I was able to get these results. And you can see it follows the style of the colors while following the shape of your input image. Now, one last thing I want to show you as part of this Logo Diffusion V4 preview is our Upscaler workflow. So let's pick an image with a lot of details. So let's say this one. So if you open it, and let's say I want to open this image separately, I want to see the results. You can see that it looks pretty detailed, but it's still 1K resolution. And usually you might need high resolution for your designs. So what we can do is just click on the upscale image. What this will do is it's gonna copy the prompt we used for it and place it here. It's also gonna set the default here, for example, creativity at 3. I'll keep it as a default, and then for optimized, I'll try to do something like 3D art, since this is kind of the style we're going for here. And I'll set the upscale to 2x, and let's click upscale. Now, this is the result we got with the upscale. You got this option here to see view full image or zoom at actual size. So this kind of zooms in at 100%, and you can see the increase in details. If you want this to be closer to your input image, then you can just drop the creativity to 1, and it's going to be super similar. But if you wanted to give it more space to add its own details, you can just raise the creativity a little bit higher. Let's drop it down to 2 and do 4x, and let's give it a shot. All right, so now we got the 4x upscaled version of this image. If we do zoom at actual size, you can see the level of details that were introduced at this resolution. So at 4K resolution, you can see that it just created details out of thin air and then just added to it. You can see the details here in the leather, on the texture on the street, even kind of start adding features to the people in the background. You can see now it just, before it was just kind of like blurred, and now you can see there's a lot more details. Gave this guy cowboy hat, but in general, this brings the image to a level where it can be used for production, it can be used for an advertisement or any production level project you're working on. This is a quick preview of Logo Diffusion V.4. There's a lot more features and tricks that I'm going to be doing tutorials on, but this is an overview of what we into this version. It took us 5 months to do this, and we're super proud of how far we got compared to V3, and we can't wait to see what you'll be able to build with this new version. I'll see you in the next one.